Thank you for tuning in to today's Saints Q&A. We go live on Mondays, and as a part of our live shows, we like to have a conversation with the Who Dat Nation and ask questions or answer questions and respond to hot takes, comments, questions, and concerns that you guys have in our live chat. So we're going to start things off with I Love Football, but friendly reminder, if you want more content like this and you want to be featured in a future show, use hashtag Saints in the comment section and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I Love Football. Would you make Davon Godchaux a post-June 1 trade or cut? Now, let's look at this real quick. So, Devon Godchaux, if you were to make him a post-June 1 cut, you would save $1.5 million, but you have $5.6 million in dead money. Now, if you did this as a post-June 1 cut, you only have $3.6 million in dead money, and you save $3.5 million. That's not a ton in savings, but it's decent enough where I would consider it. Trade post-June 1, you'd actually have the most savings, $6.5 million with $639,000 in dead money. And if you trade him pre-June 1, then you'd get $4.5 million in cap savings and $2.6 million in dead money. So in terms of what's the best option, it's going to be trading him. Would I do it? I'd consider it, but I'm also not like itching to get him off the roster. I think he has a good role, and it's nice to have a veteran in the middle there. But I do think it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to try to look to get younger and cheaper on the defensive line. Mad Rummer, would you rather draft Carnell Tate and sign Breece Hall or draft Jeremiyah Love and go from there? Well, I think you would sign Breece Hall first. So if the Jets franchise tag Breece Hall or he signs elsewhere, immediately my eyes go to Jeremiyah Love. In a perfect world, you would love to have Carnell Tate and Jeremiyah Love. You will not get that. I would prefer to go Jeremiyah Love and build from there. Like, let's sign a guard like David Edwards in free agency. Let's draft Jeremiyah Love in round 1. Round 2, we can go get a receiver or a DB or an edge rusher or a lineman or literally any other position. But I'm really in love with the idea of drafting Jeremiyah Love number 8 overall. I'm infatuated with it, in fact. I think it would be a smart decision for the New Orleans Saints. I think it would open up this offense. I think it would make it more dominant. I think it would make it more lethal. And quite frankly, Kellen Moore's best versions of his offenses have been when there's been a strong rushing presence. Ethan, I drink motor oil. Good to see you, brother. What could we realistically get in return if we traded Derek Carr? Now, realistically, it's kind of a hard thing to gauge. Like, for what it's worth, the Saints do have control over this situation. Derek Carr can't come out of retirement because he feels like it. He would need to be activated from the reserve/retired list for the New Orleans Saints. So if Carr were to get activated from that list, the Saints hold his rights, so then they could trade him away to a team that desires services. I think best case scenario, you're getting a nice package of day 3 picks. I don't think you should expect a 3rd round selection. I don't think you should expect anything outrageous. I think best case scenario, you're getting like a 4th and a 6th round pick. Maybe you're getting a 5th, like just straight up. Like I don't see Derek Carr commanding a lot in return for trade compensation. The Saints, he's a dead asset. Like, there are no plans to keep him around or utilize him in the future, so they lose a lot of negotiating power there. However, they do have control over the situation because they could just choose to not activate him from the reserve/retired list. Moon Drop and Snow Drop VR. Do you think the Saints can trade for Brandon Aiyuk? Can they? Sure. Should they? No. I don't really want anything to do with Brandon Aiyuk. Like, I think when you're talking about the Saints wide receiver room, if you were to trade for a wide receiver, Brandon Aiyuk just isn't a guy that I'm interested in trading for. No disrespect to him, but I don't feel like he has the juice that he used to. I think the Saints would be better off not bringing in somebody who's had a history of being a little bit of a diva. Feels like there's a lot of off-field distractions with him. Can they trade for him? Sure. I mean, yeah, you can, but like, I don't know if I check the Trizzy. I don't know if I'm actually interested in bringing him to New Orleans. Could he help the offense? Maybe, but like, the locker room is so strong, I'm not really interested in trying to hurt it more. Lopez, what do you think on this?
I'm a firm believer that the thing that kills a rebuild the quickest is a cancer in the locker room.
Yes.
And I just don't think the headaches that Brandon Aiyuk would bring is worth it.
Yeah.
He's a great talent when he's on the field. Like you said, he's not always healthy. And I know he's not happy.
He's also making a lot of money.
Yeah, making a lot of money, and he's not happy with that. And then he's also not handling it in the most mature way.
Yeah.
Why are you speeding 135, 140 miles past your stadium, posting that on social media like this is a big, like, hey, go fuck yourself, San Francisco?
Yeah.
No, that's not a good look for you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I just think when you talk about the Saints situation, they're in their rebuild. They're doing it well. Why? You've taken 5 steps forward. Why take 10 steps back? That just doesn't make sense to me, in my opinion. I'm not in the mood to train for Brandon Aiyuk, but you guys can let me know in the comment section if you would. I think it would be a bad idea. I do think a good idea would be if you downloaded PrizePicks, use our promo code CLNS. That way you would get $50 on lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Football is over. Oh, no! But it's okay. You can still shoot your shot with PrizePicks. Download it, the app. Use our promo code CLNS. You'll get $50 instantly in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting, so don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. And PrizePicks is now available in all 50 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. And they make all withdrawals fast and secure. They put their users first. They accept most major payment methods, making deposits into your account quick and easy this sports season. And PrizePicks is so simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you could cash in and make real money in real time. PrizePicks projections are available for all your favorite sports. Anything from basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and so much more. They even have season-long projections available for some Saints players. Chris Olave hammering the more in his receiving yards. I think he's going to have a huge, huge breakout in year 2. Tyler Shuck smashing the more on his passing yards. I think this guy is going to be absolutely amazing in his second season. And Bijan Robinson, just because it's always F the Falcons, I'm going to take the less on his rushing yards. Do I think he could get more than 1,300 or 1,274? Yeah, I do. But I also am a notorious Falcons hater, so I'm not really interested in giving them really all that much juice. So I'm taking the less on his as well. Download the app today. Use promo code CLNS. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to PrizePicks, where it's always good to be right. All that information is clickable in the comments and description of this video. All right, let's get to Kevin Meadows. What are your thoughts on trading Alvin Kamara? I'm good. Like, it's one of those things where he straight up said he would rather retire than play elsewhere. Like, my take has always been Alvin Kamara should control his destiny. Demario Davis should control his destiny. Cam Jordan should control his destiny. Like, these Saints legends, Taysom Hill even, like, these guys should get to choose what they do in their next phases and their last phases of their career. Alvin Kamara has said, I'd rather retire than play elsewhere. So if he wants to stay around and he's able to take less money and maybe rework the contract and free up some money and maybe lower that cap hit, because he's making a lot of money this year. And honestly, I think that they need to lower that cap hit some way, somehow, whether you restructure him or just give him a new contract altogether and kind of redo the whole thing. I'm just kind of in the camp of he said he'd rather be here. It's safe to assume he's willing to negotiate with the money to make it a little bit easier to work around him. I'm okay with keeping him around, especially if you draft Jeremiyah Love. Like, I don't think there's any harm in having Alvin Kamara, a legend, pour into Jeremiyah Love, a future legend. Like, I think that would actually be really beneficial for all sides. 224H, what you got for me, brother? Do you think the Saints defense is going to be elite next season, like top 5 or number 1? I think that they're going to be much better than what we saw this year. Chase Young, imagine what he's going to do with the full season. I think that it's not outrageous to say 12 to 15 sacks is attainable for him. I'm really, really eager to see Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker in year 2. I'm really interested to see how Kool-Aid McKinstry in year 3 looks. I think Danny Stutzman is going to have an increased role. It depends on, do you bring back Alontae Taylor, is Demario Davis, is Cam Jordan, are they all a part of the mix? Like, kind of hard to gauge what's going to happen because you also don't know what we're going to do in free agency or in the draft. So I think they have what it takes to be an elite squad next year. They were really, really good, underrated. They were a top 10 defense in most statistical categories, including yards per game. They were 9th. They gave up less than 300 yards per game. In yards per play, they were number 6 in the National Football League, gave up less than 5. In terms of red zone scoring percentage and touchdowns, they were number 9 in the National Football League. In third down conversion rate, opponents converted number 3 in the NFL, 34.27. Like that's a good defense. I think that they will have a really, really nice year in the second season with Brandon Staley at the helm. Is Mickey Loomis cooking? Look, I know a lot of Saints fans do not like Mickey Loomis. I know a lot of the Who Dat Nation wants to see Mickey get fired. I know a lot of us want to see him get out of there, and we think he's old. But look, I think Mickey may have found his fastball again. I don't think it's crazy to say that he's had a couple of good moments as a GM recently. That draft class in 2025, they freaking nailed it. They made some good decisions when it came to the free agency acquisitions. They made some interesting trades that started to look like it may actually pan out. Like, look, you're not going to get Mickey Loomis out of there unless this whole operation blows up in everyone's faces. And I don't see that happening. I think Kellen Moore and Tyler Shuck are a match made in heaven. I think the future's really bright. And if they keep winning games, Mickey Loomis is not going to get fired. I will say, we might have Chef Mickey in the mix right now. I think over on Airline Drive, Mickey's been whipping it up, and he's been cooking. J-Rock, let's get to you, brother. Do you think the Saints would entertain the possibility of bringing back David Onyemata to bolster the D-line since he's a free agent? Would they entertain it? Sure. Like, why not? Would they actually do it, or should they do it? I'm going to say probably not. Like, go and spend money on guard and spend money on another option at some position. I don't really care where. I'd rather go younger and cheaper in the draft than trying to run it back and bring back somebody who left. Like, do you think that they would entertain it? Maybe. Should they? No. Kendall, if the Jets lock in with Breece Hall and the Seahawks lock in with Kenneth Walker, should we look into running backs like Travis Etienne, Tyler Algier, or Rico Dowdle? Yes, I think you should look into all of these guys. If Breece Hall gets franchise tagged or he signs an extension or he signs elsewhere, move to the next option. Kenneth Walker, also a good option. I think Travis Etienne would be smart. Tyler Algier, I'm a huge fan of his. I think he plays an excellent brand of football. He's unfortunately just buried behind Bijan Robinson. It would be pretty cool to see him be in the black and gold. I think he would definitely be useful in New Orleans. Rico Dowdle had a really good year for the Carolina Panthers. I think Javonte Williams is also a name to keep an eye on. Maybe Najee Harris, Travis Etienne. I think there's certainly options available in free agency for the running back position. My number one running back target through the entire offseason, when you take a look at draft, free agency, or trade, it's going to be Jeremiah Love. I think that he would be an excellent addition to the Saints roster. He's going to be young. He's going to be cheap. He still has a lot of tread left on the tires. So if you do want to add a running back, I have no problem with going and getting one of those guys that we just talked about or one of the guys you listed, Kendall. But I think that drafting Jeremiah Love should be priority number one, especially if Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker get signed elsewhere. Entertain it. See what it would take to get a guy like Tyler Algier. But I think you just kind of shift your focus to Jeremiah Love and then what you do after that. Nola Chop Podcast. What's going on, homie? Who can we target as our offensive line coach since Jahri Evans took the same position? So it's assistant offensive line coach. He was the assistant offensive line coach. He wasn't like the O-line coach. He was the assistant O-line coach. He did take the same position with the Steelers. Who can we target as our O-line coach? Somebody in college. Somebody who's been around. Jeff Stoutland would be awesome. It seems like he's going to stick around in Philadelphia in some capacity. Maybe, maybe not. Kind of hard to understand what's going on there, but I don't see why you wouldn't throw the bag at Jeff Stoutland, make him the highest paid assistant coach in the league. Would be really beneficial. He does have familiarity with Kellen Moore, which could be cool. In terms of other O-line coach targets, I'm going to be honest, I don't have a long list of guys to keep an eye on. Jahri Evans, yes, you want to replace him and get somebody else, but this was an assistant offensive line coach. I don't think this is like a major conversation topic and like a huge priority to get an assistant O-line coach. Like, if you can get Jeff Stoutland and make him your O-line coach, cool, but it was assistant role to assistant role either way. So it's not like you're losing your true O-line coach. Joshua Hunter, who's a worthy edge rusher signing in free agency? Because I'd rather draft Dylan Stewart next year. I'm good on Trey Hendrickson. I'm gonna be honest. Lopez. I don't know if y'all heard him in my ear saying Trey Hendrickson's gonna be probably the best edge rusher. I had a list of these somewhere. Hold on, where'd it go? Where'd the content room go? Here it is. Okay. According to Mike Clay, full list of unrestricted free agents. Let's go to edge rusher. You ready? Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Josh Uche, Cam Jordan, Draymond Jones, Joseph Osai, Jadeveon Clowney, Odafe Owe, Boye Mafe, Hassan Reddick, Al-Qadim Muhammad, Arden Key, Clavon Chason, Jacob Martin, Dante Fowler Jr., Arnold Ebiketie, DJ Wonham, Michael Clemens, Charles Omenihu, Kyle Van Noy, Samson Ebukam, Jahad Ward, Kingsley, I don't know how to say his last name, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, Preston Smith, Derek Barnett, Marcus Davenport. How funny would that be? Malcolm Kuntz, Cameron Thomas, AJ Epinesa, Khalid Kareem, Aziz Ojolari, Sam Williams, Jalen Holmes, Cleveland Farrell, Dietrich Wise Jr., Chris Rumpf. I would actually be down to bring him back for cheap. He wasn't that bad. Dennis Gardick, Quentin Bell, Travis Gibson, Dominique Robinson, Danico Autry, Brandon Graham, Cameron Sample, Emmanuel Ogba, Tyquan Lewis, David Ojabo, Drake Jackson, D'Angelo Malone, Darrell Taylor, Peyton Turner. That would be funny. And Janarius Robinson. There's a long list of edge rushers that are all going to be available in free agency. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to Saints Now by Chat Sports. We've been answering your questions, responding to your hot takes, and had a great time doing it. My name is Jersey Trey Stroud for Loco Lopez. Y'all stay golden. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.